Hi, I'm Patty with StudioR12 Stencils, and today I'm going to show you how to make a simple and useful tote. So when you're ready to assemble your box, what you're going to do, I use the quick and dry tacky glue, and then what you do is you're going to start with your base, and then you're going to apply glue to any of the tabs. You can see some of these tabs are exposed. You don't put glue on the outside edges of those, so watch where you're putting your glue. And so I would put my glue on the tabs, and then I slide the little slot onto that, and then I build slowly from the base, and I go from one side to the corner side to the other long side to the other corner and do it methodically. Get it all assembled, put some books on it, let it dry, and then we're ready to move on. Okay, this is a tab surface, and on StudioR12 we have something like 5 as of April 2024. So you can check those out. They're super useful, wonderful boxes. They can go on the back of the toilet. They're fit skinny so that you could put them on your dining room table, in the kitchen. CDs fit in here if you still do CDs and things like that. So they're just a universal useful box. We also have square ones, so check those out at StudioR12.com. But some people don't like to have imperfections, so I'm going to show you how to deal with imperfections. And we're going to use, this is plastic wood. I like a wetter wood putty than drier, and this one's got a pretty good creamy consistency. My husband was my woodworker for years, so I've been around this for a really long time. All right, so what I'm going to do is feel around for anything that I don't like the feel of, and then I'm going to go in here and I'm going to put wood putty on those little places. You don't have to do this. I will not be doing this. I'm going to show you this one, and then I'm going to move on and actually just switch to paint. But this will give us one of these to use as an example so that you can see how to build it. If you have a husband or somebody in your family that enjoys doing this, this would be a really great thing to be like, honey, help. Okay, so you want extra wood putty. You don't want a big wad of it because that'll make more work for you later. So you want to use a palette knife. You want to smooth it on like cake frosting, and then you want to let that completely dry. And when you do that, you're going to use you can use light pressure with 60 grit just to get the big stuff down, and then switch to a 220 and smooth it out. And you don't want to go in circles. You do want to go with the grain. This doesn't have grain, but choose a grain and stick with that. Okay, so now we're going to move on to talking about paint. I chose to assemble the box before I painted it. And that does make the insides of the box a little bit more difficult to paint. However, I'm going to show you some tricks. This is good learning lessons right here. So I'm going to show you tricks to get it done easily and what kind of tools you need. I'm going to mix number 79 and number 22. We have all of our paints numbered, and we have actually on the website, we have a tool, a sheet that will tell you about the paints and gives you conversions and stuff like that. So I'm going to mix evenly. This one is too white for me, and this one is too cream for me, so something in the middle, little Goldilocks going on here. So I'm going to start with the inside and show you how I'm going to get into those crevices and those corners. That's the trick. And the trick is all going to boil down to a tool. Always wipe off your palette knife right after you use it. And this tool is a foam brush. So what you're going to do is you're going to load the tip of your paint, and then you're going to shove, see how it's like on a diagonal right there? So you're going to shove that right in that corner and get the corner based. It's a fresh load, so I don't have much paint wadded up on this applicator. There we go. So as soon as I can't see the dark of that corner, then I know I'm ready to smooth the paint out. So now I'll just go straight up and repeat one time. And now I've got my edges. I'll smooth out just a little bit to make sure I don't leave any ridges. Okay, and then I'm going to repeat on all of the cracks, everywhere where there is a joint. And we just repeat like that. All right, so I have all 4 of my edges, sides, corners, all done. Now I'm going to switch to a bigger foam brush. And then I'll just use big swaths to get that based. So it actually isn't that bad, and it goes pretty quickly. To do the sides, I'm going to flip to my side, and then this is important. I'm going to use a sweeping motion. So I'll start in the corner, and then I'm going to sweep it up and off the edge, because I don't want to deal with these edges, okay? So I don't want to get them all dirty and white and stuff. So you got to be careful. We have a video that will show you how to clean up. I think it's like 3 or 5 ways to clean up the dirty edges if you get them dirty. Okay, I have the first base coat all completely done, and it's going to need to dry so I can force it dry with blow dryer. One of the other reasons that you don't want to put the box together after you paint it is if you have to do 3 or 4 paint coats on all the joint areas, then you might need to go back with some sanding and sand the little tabs so that they fit together, and that's just kind of a pain. So I think also doing this while it's assembled, I get to stuff some paint in any of the little gap areas so that it almost fills it in. So it's a really good call to put it together first. For the outside of your box, you're going to do basically the same thing. Well, we don't have to use the skinny little brush. On any of the tabs, this one is lifted up just a little bit. I can see like it's sunk in a little bit. So I want to use my sponge brush and use it to stipple into that area. And then I'll do the same thing on all the sides. So we'll just stipple, stipple. Be careful of our edges. It looks like I'll be using my own tricks on how not to be messy here. All right, so the way I handled the handle was I just used small little tapping steps and flicked off on the edge. And then I drug it in this way and then drug it out this way. And in my brain, this is just the first coat, but those little tabs disappear to me. So like, and we're gonna have pretty painting on it and all that kind of thing, so they don't bother me at all. All right, so I'm gonna continue around the box, and then I'll meet you on the wood putty side. I put my project on the towel because I have to keep flipping it to different sides, and sometimes there will be things laying on your paint table that you can't determine. So you wanna be careful of that. So I'm using the 220 to see how that does first. And I could use some muscle. Let your fingers do the walking. So we basically only want to see wood filler right where the edges meet, or in the actual grooves there. Okay, that feels really good. So those are the steps you take to do wood filling if you wanted to take it to that level. And now I'm ready to paint the last 2 sides. All right, well, I made a little bit of a mess on this, probably trying to go fast. That's usually when I make mistakes, but it's easy to clean up, and I know that. So you just take an ink sweeper. This is one of the ways in the video that I mentioned earlier. So you take your ink sweeper, always blot it off because you don't want it to cup around and make another mess on the sides. And just tap, and away go the mistakes. The ink sweeper shape is so brilliant because it just follows along skinny little lines. Okay, so now we get everything dry. I'm still a little bit soggy in places. It took 2 coats. One thing that I do want to let you know, if you are somebody that is inclined to be using the wood filler, when you see what I do to this next, I'm going to be distressing it and sanding it and making it like a little bit kind of country looking. So you might change your mind about wood filling if you know you're going to already distress something and make it look old. So it took all that time to make it all beautiful, and now we're going to sand it. Sigh. Generally speaking, the corners are where you see the most wear on things. So you can spend a little bit of extra time on those corners. Corners and edges. Brush off your debris, and then you're going to continue all the way around the piece. This is such an exciting project for me because it has to do with tea-towel stripes. So these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different patterns of tea-towel stripes. For the last 4 or 5 years, tea-towel has been on the absolute march for trends. It is everywhere. It's on clothing, it's on bedding, it's on furniture, it's on everything. Like, it's literally on everything. So the one thing that I want to use, I'm going to use the big tea towel. I'm going to put it right through the middle going this direction. And then I'm going to use some words, and I'm going to talk about that. But in order to do that, we have to find middle. So we go here, that's not long enough, so we get out our bigger T-square. And that's 12.5 inches. We've got our triple thread, and we're gonna go 6 1/4. So that tells me where I'm gonna go. And then I'm gonna go ahead and give myself a line straight down so I have something to keep flush with. We sell the tea towel stripes in separated stencils because when you have something hanging over the edge, it makes everything else bow up over the edge. And I actually, I have a jar sitting here. Let's make a bridge. Okay, that helps pretty much. All right, and then we'll find our center. You can see that it goes straight up and down. Tea towel stripes are one of our website's absolute bestsellers. They are amazing. You can use them for any kind of art. I'm going to tape over here where my holes on the other one that I'm not going to use are. Okay, we have our multi-maskers here, and they just go along so that I don't put paint on anything else. And I'm going to take my click eraser, and I'm going to erase my line. All right, let's talk about marking your projects. Okay, so this is a ceramic lead. This should erase with water, eraser, all the things. However, I marked on very fresh paint. Anytime you mark on fresh paint, if it's not completely dried, then whatever marker you use is going to be embedded in the paint. So then you work to get it off. I could go backwards, and I could tap on a little bit of my base coat to cover it up, so because I made that mistake. And so anyway, I like to have my mistakes be learnable lessons for you guys. So I always try to show them, never try to mask over them. Okay, so now we're going to use a jumbo dauber, and we're going to use number 49. And you're going to blot, blot, blot because I don't want this strong. Got my multi-maskers. They're also going to help me hold it down. Actually, I'm going to go across. That's a good idea. Get out a third. So I want to keep the middle 2 bars down, but the sponge will make them go bouncy, bouncy. Okay, and then I'll keep sliding down. Okay, these are invaluable. You definitely want to pick some of these up. I think at least 2. Okay, so that's kind of faded, but I think I'm cool with that. And then I'm going to dry this, and then we're going to sand it just a little bit. Okay, we're ready to sand. Just want it to look weathered and old. Okay, now let's talk about stencils to use. So I went and found 3 stencils that we had laying around here. And I wanted something that said Market Garden because my intention is to put 3 jars inside of here and put flowers on my dining room table. So this is just going to be a really cool addition. And then when it's out of season or something like that, then I can put more different seasonal flowers. So I want something that says Marketplace. And so I found Fresh Flower Market, which I think would look really cool. I might go with that one just because you can use fresh flowers from your market all year long. And then I found one that just says Market, so I could fill this basket with fruit and go with things that are just kind of in-season things. So I could have flowers from the market, I could have fruit from the market, we could even put a cloth in it and make it be a bread basket for your table. So I almost talked myself into this one. And then this one is Farmer's Market, and I think it's too big. It does fit, and it would look fine. But I think, geez, I think Market's gonna win. That way I don't have to only have the flowers. So now I wanna measure my stencil and see where the middle of my stencil goes. And you can mark on your stencils with Sharpies, and then you can wipe them off with rubbing alcohol if you want to. Okay, I've got number 13 is gonna be the lettering colors. Back to a multi-masker because that F is really close. And you can secure your multi-masker with a little piece of tape so you don't have to hold it. I'm in a dome brush. These dome brushes are magic and they will help you not bleed under your stencils. And I'm gonna swirl. Swirling keeps everything nice and even. And the dome brush makes things not look like they're polka dotted if you have to stipple. By the time you've swirled from one side to the other, usually it's such a light coat of paint that you're ready to go back and it's all dry. So you can just go and get your second coat done. Okay, I think that'll do it. Ready for the reveal? Ta-da! Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to dry it and then we're going to sand that. And then we are ready to do the finishing touches. All right, I'm not loving how my R looks like it has a drop shadow, so I'm gonna do a little bit of extra sanding there to just fade that down just a little bit. Okay, so now that's nice and distressed. I think a little bit of spattering is in line. Lots of water in my brush. This is the White Wonder. And we're just gonna add just little hints of the color to carry it out to the edges. I'll wash that brush out. Do the same. My brush is a little bit dirty, doesn't matter. This starts making everybody into a great big family. Okay, and I think that might be it. Now we've got to talk about finishing. So finishing with your inside, you're going to use 2 things. Okay, so you're going to take either that foam brush or one of these great big oval glazes, and you're going to apply a thin coat of varnish in there, maybe even 2. The inside of boxes always take a lot of the hit. And then if you finish up with a coat of the fine wax, we have videos on both of these things, so you can go watch one of those videos. Finish up with a coat on top of the varnish with the wax. The wax repels nicks and scrapes and all that kind of stuff. You could also distress it in there so that you don't have to worry about it because it's supposed to be distressed. So that's something that you could do too. And on the outside of the box, you could go with just straight wax or nothing if you wanted. So either way is fine. You could also just do matte varnish. Any of them are acceptable. I think this came out so cute, you guys. Like, look how cute that is just with flowers lying in it. You could use it for so many things. I hope that you loved this lesson. I hope you learned a lot from it. And make sure you subscribe, ring the bell, and what else? Well, I know. We'll see you in the next video.